Hello, Mr. Harry and all of my friends who watch this video. Good morning. So, me, Nyoman Satya Surya Darma from 4A class will be doing the presentation regarding my research background and literature review of my research. The title of my research is The Relationship Between English Language Education Learner TOEFL Test Anxiety and Their Performance on TOEFL Test. So what we will talk here is research background, and then second is literature review. Okay, we move to the first, the research background. All right, the first point we will talk is the background of the study. Every course or subject has the learning goal that students need to fulfill. In order to know how far student ability and are they are reach the goal, usually some type of test is carried out as a measurement, and not exception for the English subject. For English subject, there are a lot of type the tests or measurement that are universal and worldwide used, such as TOEFL, IELTS, and etc. TOEFL or Test of English as a Foreign Language is a test to check the English proficiency level on non-native speaker. In this modern era, there are three types of TOEFL, that is, first CBT, computer-based testing, which is used a computer in their test, and the second is PBT, paper-based testing, which use paper and pencil in their test, and then last is IBT, internet-based testing, which use online connection to conduct the test. In Ganesha University of Education, the TOEFL is used as one uh, as a graduation requirement for students who are already in their third or last academic years in this university. The university set a minimum score for undergraduate level of English language education major is 500. It means if students want to pass a TOEFL test, students need to prepare well for this test because this is determining whether they can graduate or not. Because the reason, indirectly students are feeling under pressure that turn into anxiety. Anxiety comes from the Latin anxious, and in German Angst, and then the word is formed in English into anxiety. According to American Psychiatric Association, anxiety is apprehension, tension, or uneasiness which stem from the threat of danger. And then for students, the anxiety that they feel is test anxiety. Test anxiety is a physiological, cognitive, and emotional response created by students stress in an exam and could demotivate students and make their attitude negative toward the course. Test anxiety could have an effect that blocking our mind from thinking, and then will make students harder to remember the answer from the exam. Based on this problem, the researchers are interested to conduct research on the title, the relationship between English language education learner TOEFL test anxiety and their performance on TOEFL test. And then the limitation of the study. This study is focusing on finding the correlation or relationship between variable, which is student test anxiety that ELE student in Nodixa feel during and before the test, and then their performance on TOEFL test. The next point is the problem of the study. So I formulate one research question. The research question is, what is the relationship between test anxiety level and their performance in TOEFL among English language education learner of Wendiksa? And then the next point is objective of the study. Based on the problem of the study, the objective is to find out the relationship between test anxiety level and their performance in TOEFL among ELE learner in Indonesia. The significance of the study. The output of the study is expected to beneficially theoretically and practically. The first is theoretical significance. Results of this study are expected can enrich empirical reference regarding relationship of student TOEFL anxiety and their performance in TOEFL test. And in more specific context, This research is expected as reference for next study or next research regarding TOEFL anxiety and performance. And then second, practical significance. Point A for student, the study is expected to give information to the student who will take the TOEFL test about their anxiety, which is they are normal to feel anxiety and hopefully the test taker are able to more prepare the test mentally and physically. And then for lecture, the study is expected beneficial for lecturer in order to make their lesson plan and design the material that can help students for preparation for TOEFL test since early they come to the university. And then last, for other researchers, this study is expected to give a benefit as a relevant resource or reference for their study in the future. Next, we talk about the literature review. The first point is TOEFL test. Based on Warfield, Larry B. and Geyer 2013, states TOEFL test of English as a foreign language is a well-known English language test that is widely accepted and used around the world. The purpose of TOEFL test is to measure the level of English proficiency of non-native speaker of English language. TOEFL test is commonly applied in countries that use English as their second language and not exceptional for Indonesia. Since it administered by ETS, there are several versions of types of TOEFL test that appear. First is paper-based test or PBT test. The test is in paper and pencil in format. The scoring scale of PBT is range from 310, the minimum, and maximal is 670. This type of TOEFL test is consists of three sections: listening, structure and written expression, and then reading. Second is CBT, computer-based test. CBT are using the computer system for the order of the question, which is the complexity of question is adaptive. CBT is consists of four sections, different with the PBT, including listening section, structure section, reading section, and writing section. For the CBT, the scoring scale is from 0 to 300 for maximum. And then last is internet-based test. IBT, a version of Drupal that administered in the form of online connection. Uh, the section of IBT is quite different, which is the first is reading section, listening section. The differences from CBT and PBT is there a speaking section and then writing section. For the IBT, the score range is from 0 to 120. Next is anxiety. Uh, According to Sharma in Bison 2017, page 8, word anxiety is derived from Latin word angre, which means to cause distress. Every single human, they are feeling uncertain, feeling worried, nervous in some situation, can be categorized as anxiety. Anxiety is common thing that every student and may teacher uh, feels because uh, student and teacher are used to facing challenge in teaching learning process every day in uh, university context. Based on the symptom, anxiety can be divided into first is physical anxiety. Some symptoms that mean you are people feeling anxiety is such butterfly in the stomach, headaches, high heartbeat, dry mouth, using the toilet more frequently, shaking, and etc. And the second, physiological anxiety. Some symptoms that mean people feeling physiological anxiety is panic attack, frightened, feeling mad, and like angry to all people there around there, and then feel like want to hide from this situation and hoping this situation is can go away. And then the third is behavioral anxiety. Some symptoms that mean people in the behavioral anxiety is difficult to concentrating and avoidance in when people talking about anxiety in about what make they are anxious. And then the third point is foreign language anxiety or FLA. Uh, FLA was defined by McIntyre and Garnett in 1994 as the feeling of apprehension and tension that specifically related to second language or foreign language context. It means students are feeling uncomfort conditions such as tension or pressure when the learner are told to use the second language or foreign language in the some contexts which include such as speaking, listening, reading, and etc. Foreign language anxiety are consists of three components, namely, first, communication apprehension. This refers to fear of interacting with other in the context of real world. It arises when students having mature ideas and tough, but they have a lack of mature communication abilities or second language vocabulary, so they can communicate with other. And the second, fear of negative evaluation. This is observed happen when students feel they are unable to make a positive social impression to the other. It is a fear of other people evaluation and desire to avoid evaluative situation. And then last is test anxiety. Test anxiety is fear of failure toward academic tests and painful experience retained either it is consciously or unconsciously by learner in various situations. And then move to test anxiety. Test anxiety is giving big influence as the reason on student low academic achievement, uh, lack of enthusiasm, and inability to focus on class by Stober et al. 2004. Moreover, Horwitz et al. 1991 claimed that students sometimes have too high expectation on themselves. So, particularly when it comes to oral test performance. Students tend to seem under pressure to achieve a high exam score, but in the result they may perform otherwise, which is poorly. The reason of this test anxiety is still debatable, but in general classification, the cause of anxiety is subdivided into situational variable and learner variable. First, situational variable, which is include course level, course organization, activity in the class, instructor behavior and attitude toward the learner, and how learner interact with each other. Uh, and then the second learner variable, which is include the age, ability, attitude, belief, culture, gender, and people personality. All right, the last point we will talk is about empirical review. So regarding empirical review, researcher found seven similar or related study, which is also talk about test anxiety in TOEFL and student performance on TOEFL. So the first study is by Ramadanti 2021. In her research, she is analyzed the student anxiety toward TOEFL test. The the student here is the student from Faculty of Economic and Islamic Business student in her University of IAIN Salatiga. And then the second is the from Alex et al. 2019. Uh, in his research, he is focusing on finding student perception on TOEFL as a graduation requirement in UIN Syarif Hidayatullah Jakarta. And in that, by Ebadi and Kaksar 2014, in his research, they are talking about the relationship between Iranian EFL learner test anxiety and how it relates with their performance in writing tests of TOEFL. The fourth is by Sunarti et al. 2019. In her research, she is talk also about the relationship between TOEFL anxiety and TOEFL performance among EFL learner. And then the fifth is by Limandra 2013. Uh, in his research, she is talking about the causal factor and the effect of student anxiety toward TOEFL test. And then the sixth by Sadeghi et al. 2013. Uh, in his research, she is talk about the anxiety speaking among EFL learner as a sociocultural investigation. And then last by Birjandi and Mino 2010, they are in his research. is focusing on impact of test anxiety and on test performance among Iranian EFL learners. Okay, that's all my presentation about my research background and literature review regarding my research title or topic. I'm sorry if there are any mistake. If you have any question or something not clear, you can find me at Surya at ondixa.ac.id to ask to give a critic or comment about my research background and literature review. So I really happy if you can give a good critic and comment. So that's from me, Mr. Hery and all of my friends. Thank you.